Hey, I guess I'm live. I'm live. Wait for some people to show up. Just running a little test here, trying out a live shot format. Um, you know, it's basically it's what the title is. This is a test. So yeah, I'm just gonna sit here. Oh, hey, a couple people are watching. How you doing, everybody? The chat is open. Again, I'm just saying this is just a test. Hi, Desiree. Hey, Zanzeltan. Yeah, I'm just running a little test here, seeing how this webcam uh, live thing works on YouTube. Never really tried it, so thought I'd try it. My new live stream is sponsored, kind of fake, by Proper 12. Uh, but I've been trying it, and well, it doesn't exactly give me the neck cranks like Connor got Saturday, but it does kind of make me choke a little bit like he did. Um, I don't really have anything to talk about. If you guys want to talk about something, feel free to comment. I figured I'd talk about my week this week so far. Um, I tried to cancel the WWE network this week, just down until the pain goes away. Well, the pain don't go away because Connor lost, and I was happy about that. I hated how the whole thing ended, but it's okay. I've had better. It's not going to change the game. Um, but yeah, I tried to cancel the WWE Network this week, and it's funny if you ever want a free week of the WWE Network. Um, well, cheers, Wences. Um, yeah, I tried to cancel it this week because I'm kind of just tired of it. Tired of the pay per views. I'm tired of the storylines. I just need a break from wrestling. Um, Tired of them selling out. Um, and I go to cancel it. And if you ever want to find out how to get a free month of WWE Network, if you're already a member, threaten to quit, um, because they will beg you to stay. I hit quit my subscription, and it sends you to a page saying, uh, "Hey, we'll give you a free month if you don't leave. Please don't leave." And so I said, no, I quit. And you go, it takes you to the next page, and it's basically says the same thing, but three times. It gives you like three buttons saying, take your free month. Um, it's like, please take your free month. Will you pretty please take your free month with sugar on top? I mean, short of offering you, favors, if you know what I'm saying. So I took the free month, but I decided I'm dumping it at the very latest WrestleMania. Um, I always want to see the Royal Rumble, but yeah, and they're definitely desperate now, Zepsern. Yeah, they're taking money from Saudi Arabia. They're doing it again. They're getting they're getting people. What's the best way to put it? They're getting people from the past, and yes, while I like seeing that stuff, they're only doing it for the money. And yes, it's a business. I get it, but as a fan, I'd rather see new and innovative storylines, and instead of seeing, you know, well, they just had the Undertaker versus Triple H again at that show in Australia, which I should be happy they were doing a show in Australia. That's my relative's homeland. Um, but yeah, I should have been happy, and I didn't even couldn't even watch the show. Um, and they were saying, I remember watching the WrestleMania that was the end of an era match, and it was a great match between the Undertaker and Triple H, and it should have been the end of it, but no, they keep having to run it back, and they're only doing it for money. because they knew they could make a ton of money by getting Shawn Michaels to come out of retirement for the Saudi show. Um, I did hear that they had to change arenas for the Saudi show to a smaller arena. I'm not really surprised by that. Um, but yeah, so I'm definitely dumping it by Mania. It may be right after Royal Rumble, especially if the rumors are true and The Rock wins the Royal Rumble so he can face Roman Reigns at Mania. Because there are rumors that uh, the Saudis want The Rock to be champion at a show. And if they're going to keep taking that money, then it's hard for me to support them. I also can't support them because they won't let the women wrestle on that show. And granted, I know it's a cultural thing, but uh, I know it's a cultural thing, but I know that they're still taking the money. They're pressing this whole, we want to support our women wrestlers, and I have a feeling that's the only reason they got the all female Evolution pay per view finally, is to make them, to make people feel better that they weren't allowed on the Greatest Royal Rumble show. So I don't know. WWE as a business is, it's kind of, I'm almost over it, and maybe I'll come back to it. And I know there's other great wrestling out there. I've got so many other things going on that it's hard to want to keep up and to give them, 3 hours. Uh, give them 3 hour pay per views every time. And I know it's cheap per pay per views, the $10 stuff, but um, you know, I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, I stopped watching wrestling a while back before the NWO and stuff because wrestling was getting really weird and cheesy. But then, of course, I've came back and I've always kept up with it, and I've always gone back and watched stuff. But stopped watching when they changed Bam Bam Bigelow. Yeah, Bam Bam Bigelow and Doink the Clown could have been great, and they still are great. But when Doink became a goof and Bam Bam, they made Bam Bam kind of irrelevant after his Lawrence Taylor match, which he made Lawrence Taylor look like $1 million. And yeah, I'm old too, so uh, um, yeah, I don't like what they did with him. Bam Bam should have been champion, and Doink the Clown should have been a heel the entire time. I would love it if the Royal Rumble is being set up for Daniel Bryan to win. The only problem is it should have been Daniel Bryan winning the Rumble to face The Miz for the belt. And it still might be to face The Miz for the belt at Mania. Daniel Bryan should never have beat The Miz until Mania. And I know he won the other day at the Australia show. And I know they want to get the AJ Styles Daniel Bryan match in before Daniel Bryan finally just decides, you know what, I'm done, or I just want to go part time or whatever, because he's not going to be able to go full time forever. Um, and I know they wanted to get it in, but it could have waited. It could have waited. So, um, let's see. Stopped watching when Shawn Michaels retired. Yeah, that would have been a good time to go out. Um, I'm sad seeing he's coming back. Don't get me wrong. I like Shawn Michaels, but he had the perfect retirement. He had a perfect retirement match. He said he would never come back. Now all of a sudden he's probably getting paid bank to come back, which good for him. He's getting paid bank. Um, but I just don't. I don't know. I don't want to see DX versus the Brothers of Destruction again. I just don't want to see it. Um, Dwayne does want to be everywhere. I don't know if he'll do it though. I don't know if he can do a title run with WWE. He's so in demand. Um, and The Rock always says, he whenever he comes back, he says, "Welcome back, I'm home," uh, and it does. I'm not gonna say it feels insincere because I do want to believe that he I do want to believe that he does still love it, but he doesn't need it. I mean, he makes how many movies a year? He just got announced he's doing some movie about John Henry. Not, unfortunately, it's not for DC as John Henry Irons, but he's already Black Adam, of course. But anyway, so yeah, the WWE Network's gonna go bye bye soon. I uh, I hate saying that, and I always thought I would keep it just in case I wanted to watch an old pay per view or something. but I just found myself not using it other than for pay-per-views, and I barely even watched all those. So anyway, let's see what else is this week. Well, watch the UFC Saturday. I watched it through a periscope, so to speak. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Um, um, I I thought it was a great show. Um, I hated how it ended. But I will say this: I don't condone what Khabib did, but I will say there's only so much a guy can take. Um, when Dylan Dennis, who, I mean, if you've seen this guy, he fights for Bellator, which is a UFC rival organization, and this guy wants to be Connor so bad that it's not even funny. Um, and he tries to dress like Connor. He sticks his bottom chin out like Connor does. Hey, Tyron. And he tries to act, all cocky like Connor. And granted, he's a great jujitsu guy, but I've only seen like one fight of his, but he's a douche. And I mean, during all this stuff with Connor and Khabib, the build up, Connor was saying things that if you said at your job, um, if you said this stuff at your job, you would be fired for hate speech. And granted, I know he's trying to build up a fight, but you know, you don't have to insult somebody's religion or somebody's family or anything like that to build up a fight. Connor doesn't need to do that, yet he did it the entire time. Making my official goal to become my drinking buddy because I'm chill. Thank you very much. But anyway, this build up for the fight, it was too much. Connor thought he could say whatever he wants, and the problem is, for Connor, it was business. And as he was getting his face pounded in the cage, I believe it was the end of the second round, he got up and said to Habib, "It's only business." And Habib said, "Yeah, it is. Let's talk." And you could tell that Habib meant, "Let's talk with my fist in your face." Um, Connor was only business, but you can't be saying that stuff. There's plenty of ways to insult Habib. Well, you lay and pray on your opponents. That's all you do is put them to the ground and sit there. And there's plenty of ways Connor could have gotten into his head, but he was really trying to get into his head because he knew that Habib wouldn't break that easy. Um, it's only business, and why get defensive? Um, who? Why get defensive? Connor Zepser or Habib? Um, uh, well, oh, Connor. Well, Connor. Yeah, that's just it. Connor thought he could say whatever he wants, and he kind of can. Um, yeah, and he does. Zoltan, he definitely wanted to make it more controversial because, as Eric Bischoff says, a little bit of a wrestling throwback here. As Eric Bischoff said, controversy creates cash, and it's he knew that if he insulted his father, if he insulted his religion, if he insulted his country, which by the way, it was kind of funny that he was insulting Habib's country when not months ago he was watching soccer with Vladimir Putin. Connor was saying how great of a guy that uh, Vladimir Putin was. But anyway, I digress. Connor wanted to sell it, but Habib takes that stuff seriously, and you could tell with the way he treated Connor in that cage that he took it seriously. He was not joking. And then, Habib was saying, "Yeah, it's business. I'm going to pound your face, and I don't think it's good business." You know, it's funny that people are calling for Habib's head for jumping the cage, yet no one, the UFC was, and even Dana White was calling for his head. And saying, "Well, I don't know if they're going to strip him. I don't know if he's going to get suspended," all that stuff. But Connor commits crimes in New York City, injures two people, um, gave a stigma to a couple others on that bus by throwing the dolly through and all that tack, and he uh, he gets a title shot and he gets millions of dollars and he gets his meh whiskey uh, inside the octagon on the canvas, and he'll probably have that for a long time. That's probably the partnership money he's going to get, and he just gets away with pretty much anything he wants because he brings in money. Where Habib, I gotta admit, I love the guy and I love his fighting style, and I think he's gonna be a dominant champion if he gets to continue being champion. But he's definitely not. I wouldn't say he's the most exciting fighter. It don't matter because he's such a dominant fighter, but uh, he's not marketable for the UFC. The UFC isn't owned by the Fertitas anymore. It's owned by a big corporation that just wants to make money and make stupid fights. Um, I see. It's amazing Conor ain't on a leash considering stuff he's done. At any normal job, he would be. Hi, not the chosen one. Um, yeah, he would definitely be on a leash if he was any other fighter, except if Ronda Rousey was still with him. Some fighters just get away with doing whatever they want, and Connor's one of them. And I don't know. Excuse me. I got to drink some more of this to clear my throat. It's not helping. Um, I think here's the thing. They're even investigating if this whole thing was set up by the UFC. I don't think it was. The way that see what happened was after the fight, after um, I'd love to fight Connor, fight Yui Bull. That would be fun. I would love to see that. It had to be a boxing match because Yui Bull would probably get his head kicked off if it was an MMA fight. Um, the way this went down was after Connor lost, Habib got up and just kind of was telling him how it was. Not the chosen one. We're talking Habib versus Connor in the aftermath in the UFC at the moment. Um, um, Winston Acosta. Yeah, I've thought about doing some videos. Time is kind of a thing. Um, yeah, I love the UFC. Wrestling's kind of on the back burner right now. UFC's kind of moving up that list. I love watching fights. Um, anyway, after Habib was telling Connor the business, Dylan Dennis talked some shit out from the crowd, and Dylan Dennis has a big mouth, and Habib heard him. I guess he was talking all throughout the fight. I guess apparently during the fight, he called Habib a fucking Muslim rat, which Habib takes his faith very seriously. And Habib jumped the cage and attacked. And so it was that was ugly. I hated seeing that. I hated seeing Habib do that. And they were saying that Connor had no blame, but Connor jumped up on the cage. Another one of Habib's guys jumped up on the cage, and Connor punched him first. Granted, he was probably just angry, and it's gonna happen. But they're saying Connor has no blame. Connor started some stuff too, and yeah, Connor got cold cocked in the back of the head, and a little bit after that. But both of them are at fault. Um, do I think there should be punishments handed out? Yes, to both of them. Connor, though, ended up getting his purse money. Habib's got held back, which I kind of understand that, but the video evidence shows that Connor was at fault too. He should have got his purse held back too. Um, but I think they should both be suspended. I don't know for how long. If Habib is suspended for 6 months, he should get to keep his title. Um, if Habib gets suspended for a year, he should be stripped. Um, if he keeps his title, they should have a fight between Tony Ferguson and somebody else. Not sure who. I'd have to think about that. For a lightweight, probably Nick Diaz or the winner of Nick Diaz, and I can't remember who he's fighting next. those two should fight for an interim title and then fight Habib after that. Um, but I'm not sure. I'd have to look at see who's all fighting. But there definitely should be punishments handed out. It was funny because at the press conference, Habib didn't take any questions, and he said basically though, when I get home to Dagestan, my dad's gonna kick my ass. So it sounds like he's got enough troubles back home. He still lives with his family. I guess I think I can't remember if he said the youngest. I remember seeing an interview. The youngest son lives with their family forever. They even if they get married and everything, they stay with their parents. Whereas in his kids would the youngest would stay with him. I guess it's a way of taking care of your parents when they get older. I'm not sure how that all works out, but I don't know. There definitely should be punishments handed out. There should be fines handed out, suspensions. Um, but if by chance they did this on purpose, um, if they did this on purpose, then they're going to have a lot more troubles than suspensions. The UFC could get in trouble for this for putting people in danger. I guess the governor of Nevada was at the fights and he went running out scared. Um, I mean, nobody really got hurt other than the people. A couple people got punched, but I don't know. So that was my weekend watching that fight. Like I said, I did love seeing Connor lose. Used to be a Connor fan, but uh, whenever he did the Mayweather fight, I thought he went a little too far on some of his antics because I think he knew he was making a lot of money and he could do whatever he wanted. And then his antics for this fight were inexcusable. Um, so yeah, that was my weekend. I watched that. I got a couple. There's a couple Bellator events this weekend. I'm excited about. So there's that. Let's see what else can I talk about. Anybody got anything you want to talk about? I can talk about the channel a little bit. Excuse me. It is hot down in this basement. I got two lights up here, and they are making it hot. Let's see the Venom movie. Yeah, the Venom movie. Let's see. The Bailey Hug Fest. Yeah, I didn't get to watch all the Mayweather fight. I they kept showing the one uppercut Connor hit. So good for him. He hit Mayweather. Um, yeah, the Venom movie. In my review, I not my opinion hasn't changed. I and I'm sorry. There's probably gonna be some spoilers. There's gonna be some spoilers here for Venom. So if you haven't seen Venom, just be aware. I'll probably talk about it. My review is a spoiler review because I had to talk about it. Um, I'm still a little lower than the middle. Um, and take your shirt off. That'll equal viewers. I don't know. The viewers might go down. I could use more than 6 and it'd be less. Um, let's see. So yeah, the Venom movie, it needed help. It was too generic. It was a generic superhero movie. They were talking about how different it was, but it looked like a generic superhero movie mixed with Upgrade, which is a way better version of Venom. And you can see that when I think it's out on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever now. I like the idea of Woody Harrelson as Carnage, but they should have established his character in the movie because if you announce that someone's in the movie and then they're not in the movie until the mid-credit scene, you know they're going to show up in the mid-credit scene, kind of spoils the surprise. They shouldn't even have said he was in the movie, and that would have been a cool mid-credit scene. So yeah, Venom. I'd watch another one again because I thought Tom Hardy tried, and I thought that I liked the idea of Carnage, Woody Harrelson, but other than that, I wasn't too impressed. Um, Kyoko's Harley, uh, Daryesk Ivy. I'm not a big fan of what's her name, Kaylee Kyoko. I don't like Big Bang Theory. Probably lose at least some of my 6 viewers there. Um, I don't like her that much. Uh, I I think she can handle this part fine though. Um, I can't remember the other girl's name that was on that show that played Harley for. Uh, hey, you can see a little gnat flying around. Um, I can't remember the other girl who played Harley for that stupid Batman and Harley Quinn movie, but that wasn't her fault that that movie sucked. Kyoko could probably handle Harley pretty well. Um, as I've said before, I think I said it on the podcast. Want uh, I don't want to see Harley become Deadpool. Um, for that little commercial was fine, but I have a feeling she's gonna break the fourth wall and stuff. And they've already done that with the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon and everything, which that was great too. But I don't want to see it again. Not everyone needs to be Deadpool. The Daria-esque Ivy, I'm cool with that. Just kind of Harley needs a deadpan foil, and Harley will be it. So Ivy will be it. So I'm okay with that. How do I feel about the upcoming Halloween movie? Um, I'm excited for it. I'm hoping it's really good. I mean, it does fall into this trend of, well, we did these movies didn't work, so we'll just put the cut right here and shove them aside, and only these exist. The Terminator's doing it too. They tried to do it with Aliens, where they wanted to cut out everything after the second Aliens movie. Um, I like the idea. Don't know if I don't know if it's going to be good. It could just be a decent slasher movie. It's pretty insane that I believe in the trailer, Michael Myers kills more people than he killed in the first movie. But um, so yeah, the new Halloween movie. uh, the new Halloween movie could be good. I really want it to be good. Um, I'm not a fan of a lot of the Halloween movies. Halloween 1 is good. I like Halloween 2, even though it technically don't exist anymore. Halloween 3, I understand the love for it. I watched it when it was on network TV years and years and years ago because I'm old. Um, and I remember thinking, "Where's Michael Myers?" And I was pretty young, and I used to watch Freddy and stuff, so I knew that stuff. Um, so I don't know. This is really they're will they stop making Halloween movies? Probably not. Would I like to see them end it here and be done with it? I think that would be awesome, but it's never going to happen. Viewers go down if I only keep up that attitude. Um, oh, the attitude of not wanting to strip. Yeah, no one wants to see that. Um, let's see. It's offensive to people who like comedy. What's offensive to people who like comedy? Um, I got to remember what I say. Uh, uh, oh, are you talking about Big Bang Theory? Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. It's offensive to what it is to be a geek. You know, they pretend that if they um, if they throw a Green Lantern shirt on a character, that instantly makes them a geek. Or if they have a rivalry with Will Wheaton, that instantly makes them a geek. I don't know. The anytime I watch that show, I don't get it. I don't get the love for it. Um, you prefer Friends or Scrubs? I was never really into Friends, but I understand people's love for it. I know Brad is a big fan of that show. Scrubs, I used to enjoy. I'm not a big Zach Braff fan though, but I did enjoy that show. How about Gun doing Suicide Squad? I will probably be talking about that on the podcast. Um, it's a bold move by WB. I will say that. And I remember seeing another article right before I started this that is saying Batista wants to go be in Suicide Squad now. So that's pretty funny. I like the idea of Gunn doing Suicide Squad. I mean, it's he goes from one movie about a ragtag group of misfits to another movie about a ragtag group of misfits. They're all criminals. You know, it's perfect for him. Yeah, a lot of us did grow up with Chucky, Freddy, Halloween movies. I probably got to watch that stuff when I was a little young. Um, but my parents explained to me, they said if you realize that this stuff isn't real, then you can watch this. And from then on, I've never been scared of that stuff. And got to grow up with it. I still remember when they didn't even know how WoW worked. Oh, on Big Bang Theory. That's kind of weird. You'd think they would know how WoW worked, if they're really geeks. Um, hey, you stripping might be a new boom period. Screw Magic Mike, you're gorgeous, Gino. I don't know. Y'all might want to see it, but I don't think I do. Um, uh, Considering you don't like the first Suicide Squad, you're game for gun. The first Suicide Squad, when I saw it early, and the crowd was enjoying it, and there were things I enjoyed about that movie. But after I had a 2.5 hour ride home, and watching that or thinking about that movie on the way home, I'm thinking, I enjoyed this movie, and I think in my review I still said I enjoyed it. I haven't went back and watched it because where our opinions of movies change over time. After I do a review, my opinions change all the time, especially after I've had time to think about it. So you may go back and watch my review of Suicide Squad, and I'm like, I love this movie, which I don't think I went that far. I definitely had problems with it, um, but I on the way home, I was thinking about it's like, there really was some stuff in that movie that was dumb. Like the Enchantress dancing for her magic, for one. I mean, that's just the beginning. I think Gunn, him writing it, I mean, just think about what he did for Guardians. I mean, Guardians 2 was good. It was a little messy, but his character still felt important, and everyone felt like they had a role, and things like that. And I think with Suicide Squad, that's what it needed, was everyone needed to feel important, and not everyone really did in the first one. So I'm definitely okay with him being involved in it. It's not guaranteed he's directing it, but I'm willing to bet if they like his script, they'll let him direct it. And especially if they can pull the coup of bringing Batista over, that would be hilarious. Saw Big Bang Theory tonight while Betty was seeing The Nephew. I hadn't realized how cringy that show could get. I always thought it was cringy. I honestly, I haven't watched it enough to say I'm an expert on the show, but I've watched it enough to say I wouldn't like it. The only good thing about Suicide Squad was the guy that said, "This is the voice of God," and showed Amanda Waller. Amanda Waller was cool in that movie, but they didn't do enough with her. Um, because I mean, that character is just awesome. So I've always liked that character, and I thought that was good, but they didn't do enough with it. But when you had, granted, I don't know if anyone wants more of that Joker in that movie, but the Joker should have been the villain, most definitely, because then the entire movie would have been, playing on Harley's emotions. Should I help these guys or should I help my pudding? So I just think that having the Enchantress be the villain was dumb, and her brother, I can't, what was her, whatever her brother's name was, and just all of it was a mess. And then all of a sudden, they're acting like they're family, and they've been together for 10 minutes. That movie is just kind of a mess. Call it Magic Geno. It's going to take a lot of super chats to get me to strip, kids. um. By the way, I'm gonna go because some batteries. Oh man, Zepser, and sorry to see you go, buddy. Uh, and I don't want to talk about personal stuff, but Zepsern's going through some changes, and I want everyone to congratulate him on those changes. Me and him had some personal talks over Twitter about some things, and he's doing something that's good for himself. That I'm really happy for him. So Zepser, it's good to talk to you, buddy, and keep going, bud. Oh, we're talking about Suicide Squad 2. Yeah, a little bit. Hi, Lunar, by the way. I'm a little behind on my chats here. You think I could keep up with 8 people. Um, but, um, Leto's version of the Joker, I know a lot of people hated it. A lot of people hated that version. I wouldn't say I hated it. I wanted to see more. I think he wasn't in the movie enough for it to matter. I think that was the problem, and a lot of people hated the big change. And on my podcast, I talked about a theory that he's not even the first Joker anyway. I think that uh that the Joaquin Phoenix movie is going to connect and he's going to be the first Joker. I think that was what 2 3 weeks ago I talked about that on the program. Um, I have this whole theory of a 3 movie arc where you get to Leto's Joker. I thought he had promise. He definitely wasn't your classic Joker though. And I think that's what people wanted. But then again, we've had that a few times. Um, what's the deal with airline food? I don't know. I've only flown one round trip of my life, and I barely had peanuts and migraines both ways. Would you strip uh, for the Pitch Perfect series and the 50 Shades series on Blu-ray? No. Let's see. Let's see. Who do I think Batista should play in Suicide Squad? I don't know. If they hadn't had Killer Croc in the first one, I would have said him. Um, the only other one I could think of that he could play, and I can't remember the character's name. Who's the shark? The shark guy that was in the cartoon. I can't remember his name. Yeah, Bane would be cool too. Yeah, I could definitely see that. Uh, they could do a little bit to make him look taller. Batista's not really real tall. But yeah, I can't remember that shark guy's name that was in the cartoon. He might be something cool. I can't really think of anyone else off the top of my head. I don't have a list of all the Suicide Squad in front of me. Um, Joaquin Phoenix looked good, but the Joker origin movie sounds weird. See, I think the origin movie is gonna take some of the stuff that they didn't use for Leto's Joker, and they're gonna they're making them two different people. And they're just because a lot of people are saying, well, Batman created the Joker. Well, and I don't know if Batman's gonna create this Joker because Thomas Wayne's still alive in this movie, apparently. King Shark, thank you, Desiree. That's the shark guy in Suicide Squad. Batista is Mr. Freeze. Hell yes. That's an Arnie move if I've ever heard one. I I think the Joaquin Phoenix movie is just I'm telling you, it's gonna be an origin movie in the end for Leto's Joker. That's my hunch. I know they're saying it's not connected, it's gonna be an other universe or whatever, but I ain't buying it. I'm really curious to see it because I know they wanted Joaquin Phoenix for Doctor Strange and he turned it down. I don't think Joaquin Phoenix would have took this role if it wasn't something he could really sink his teeth into. So that makes me that's what makes me curious about this one. A lot of the people in the cast I like. Um, the new makeup's a little strange, but this isn't. I don't think this the I he may end up with that makeup. I don't know, but the makeup he has, they're saying he might be a clown first. Um, I'm not sure how it's going to work because I think they're doing a thing with him bombing on a talk show, and I believe it's going to be. I know that Robert De Niro's in the movie. I don't know if he's the talk show host. I know Mark Maron's in the movie as like an agent, so I'm really curious. I am really curious about it. It's got me interested. I think I'm more interested in that than really any other than any other DC movie right now. I mean, I think Shazam looks good. It looks fun. Looks like Big if it were a superhero movie. Aquaman, that new preview they had really did nothing for me. It was cool seeing Black Manta full blast. No pun intended. Wonder Woman 84, I'm curious about. Um, but yeah, DC, they don't know what they're going to do with Superman. They're not sure what they're going to do with Batman. I mean, it's just kind of a mess with them right now. I really am hoping that they can fix it. If Thomas is still alive and the Suicide Squad Joker is at least 20 years older than Batman, I'm not, I'm not sure how all that's working. Because I think that, I mean, because what Batman and Justice League's what, like 40 something supposed to be 40s, 50s. They never really established it that he's older. Um, so I'm not sure when they introduce, uh, if they introduce Joker, Leto's Joker in these movies, will he be a kid or something like that because what this new Joker movie is supposed to be taking place in the 80s. So, I mean, Leto if his character was say 30 in Suicide Squad, and he was a or 30, 35. I mean, he could be the same age as Batman. I don't know. I'm not sure how the mask's going to work. I mean, they're going to I think they're kind of soft rebooting everything anyway. So I'm not really sure what they're doing, but I don't know. We'll see. Um, let's see. I saw something about where did I see something about who is the worst Joker? Thought I saw, oh, yeah, there it is. Who's the worst Joker adaptation, TV or movie? Ooh, let's see. I love Hamill. Um, though he wouldn't shave his mustache, I love the 60s Joker. Nicholson's good. Ledger's good. I mean, just by default, it's almost Leto. Then again, if I can count the 2 seconds that the Joker showed up in Birds of Prey, I would count that. Granted, he was still voiced by Mark Hamill for the 2 seconds he was on the show. Um, let's see. You're forgetting the greatest heroes ever. The cast Teen Titans Go. I love Teen Titans Go, the movie. The show's okay. I can watch it with my kids, but I of course prefer the either Young Justice or the original show. DC's trying their best and lightening up, yeah, literally their movies. Too much Batman and soups. They really tried in Suicide. Well, it was meh, more than blah. Um, you know, I think they're making a smart move by kind of slowing down a little bit, building things up a little bit. I think Aquaman's going to give us an idea of where they're going because they kind of got to fix a mess because I think they had plans for Wonder Woman being in the 80s. Um, but I don't know if all those plans are still going to play in. But yeah, they do. They could use another Superman movie. I do have a bit of a story about that on my podcast this week that I'm working on, where uh, it was talked about between the director of Mission Impossible and Henry Cavill during the filming of Mission Impossible Fallout. Can they just do Terry McGinnis already? Hell yes, I wish they would. I love Batman Beyond. Um, Especially Batman Beyond Return of the Joker. Still one of my favorite animated cartoons that Warner Brothers has done. Worst Joker is Gotham. I've never seen the show Gotham, but I'll take your word for it. I've seen clips, and I'll give you that one. But yeah, Terry McGinnis. I've always had this dream that they would do um, that they do a Batman Beyond, and I'm not sure who I'd want for Terry McGinnis. I'd really have to think about that. I'm sure there's lots of great young actors that would be good. Um, but for Bruce Wayne, I would either want them. Uh, I, if I had to have a big name actor, I want it to be someone like Clint Eastwood. I think that'd be awesome to have him as the broken down Batman. Something like that would be cool. But yeah, I'd love to see Batman Beyond. I don't know if it'll happen for a while. I'm surprised they haven't done another cartoon movie of that. Um, do I think it's possible to make a successful Green Lantern movie? Yes. If you don't put Ryan Reynolds in it, um, they had a lot of good pieces for the Green Lantern movie. Um, a lot of good actors behind some of those roles. But the story was crap and changing Parallax to that cloud thing. I mean, come on, it didn't work for Fantastic Four. Um, I would love to see John Stewart. I'd love to see all of them, to be honest. If you're gonna do a Green Lantern movie, just put them all in it. And do the Green Lantern Corps. And I think that's their plan. I know they're planning on having John Stewart and I can't remember which other one that it wasn't Kyle Rayner. It was God forgive me, I'm a little tired. But yeah, they were planning on having two Green Lanterns plus some of the aliens. Um, I'm not sure if that's still their plan or not. But yeah, you could do a good Green Lantern as long as do it all in space. That's what I wouldn't take it to Earth at all. Do it all in space. That's what I would do. Yeah, and I'd love to see Guy Gardner. I'm not sure who I'd want to play him. You'd have to have somebody sarcastic. Hell, Ryan Reynolds would have made a decent Guy Gardner. Um, let's see. James Gunn saved the DCU. He'll definitely probably save Suicide Squad too if he directs it. Him writing it's a good plan. Hal Jordan, thank you, Desiree. I am very tired. I don't know why I couldn't think of Hal Jordan's name. Um, let's see. Lobo. I'd love to see Lobo, though he wouldn't be in Suicide Squad. That'd be another one that I think that uh, Batista could pull off. But I always thought Lobo would make a great live action movie. Uh, but I don't know if they'll do it. Um, let's see. Sean Connery's old Batman. Yeah, good luck getting him to act. Uh, though I'd love to see Sean Connery come back for something. Um, let's see. Yeah, Reynolds was totally Gardner. I would love to see. I would really love to see that the Aquaman movie where a God of War homage with Aquaman screaming and punching everyone. Um, I don't know what I think. Again, I don't know what I think of that that Aquaman movie. That they what was it, like a 5 minute thing they showed it. Um, that the 5 minute thing they showed at Comic Con. And I watched that. I'm like, I don't know what I think of this. Um, yeah, I'm afraid of that one. And it comes out the same week as Bumblebee, a movie I'm really excited. I can't believe I'm excited about Transformers movie finally. That's what happens when you take Michael Bay out of the equation. Is there a movie about Justice League Mortal? I don't know. Wasn't there a cartoon about something on that? I don't remember. I know there's not. Oh yeah, isn't there one? I think there is. Denzel Washington is old Static Shock. I'd be okay with that. He'd have to have the dreads though. Definitely want him to have the dreads. Um, but yeah, I'm not sure what DC's plan is. I want them to be able to fix it because I mean they're never going to catch up to Marvel. That's just it. But then again, I don't know what Marvel's going to do after. I mean, yeah, I know they got plans after Infinity War, but or whatever the new Infinity movie is, but um I know they got plans, but they can't get bigger and bigger and bigger. So, um surprised they haven't done Static Shock yet. You know, the only Static Shock I've heard is that they've talked about doing a live action version. That Nat is driving me insane. Um, uh, the only Static Shock I've heard about was and it was with Jaden Smith. And no, I do not want that. No. And there were rumors that the reason that they were able to get Will Smith for Suicide Squad was because, well, if you give my son Static, I will do Suicide Squad. I don't know if that's true. Again, rumor. But yeah, no Jaden Smith. Um, and yeah, if Jaden Smith was Static Shock, I would think that the DCEU or whatever they're calling it is, as Tristan said, no. Yeah, no one wants to see that. Anyone that wants my critique of Jaden Smith's performances in movies just needs to watch my review from a long time ago of After Earth. Um, yeah, and heck, even Will Smith was terrible in that. I'm afraid I'm stupid Nat. Um, but yeah, no, don't want no Jaden Smith. Anybody else got any other topics? We'll see how any more things I can ruin for my podcast this week. Speaking of my podcast, I'm doing one this week. I may skip next week because I'm considering going to every other week, and I know some people listen to it every week, and I do appreciate it. Um, but I'm considering doing it every other week like this, having some notes, talking about stories, and then if people want to comment as it goes, we can talk about it. That would create a little less prep time for me because I spend a lot of time prepping that show. Um, and then the second I do it, I'm looking for notes for next week's show. So I'm considering starting to do it live every other week like this. I don't know if I will, but I think I'm going to try it because this week I believe is the 49th episode and the next one will be the 50th. So I think it'd be kind of fun to do the 50th live. But I don't know if I can do it live every week because I have my boys every other week. They go to their mom's one week and then me the next, and off and on. Um, and it would be I don't want to spend the time doing this when they're here because I want to spend time with them. So no offense, I love y'all, but I love my kids. So yeah, next week there probably won't be a show. Um, there still might be. I don't know. And I may just do it the normal way and then go live the next week since that'll be a week I don't have them. So, um, but I'm trying to work less on the podcast so that way also I can do other stuff for the channel. Uh, I want to do more cross and streams segments. There's plenty of shows I want to watch, but I got to find time to watch them. When I get done with this, I think I'm going to start watching Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn on Netflix. It's only like 9 episodes, but they're like an hour long. And then of course Daredevil season 3 comes out next week. I'm doing that one. Um, I want to eventually do Star Wars Resistance. The first episode just came out. Was it Sunday or yesterday? And I want to do stuff on that. There's just so many things I want to do, and the podcast has taken so much time that I think I want to find less stories, and then we'll do it live like this, and then however long it goes, and then we've talked about it, and you guys can ask your questions live like that. So I'm considering doing that, and that's kind of why I'm doing this test. Uh, and I may do something like this once a month or twice a month. That's why for the title I came up with the phrase "low budget live stream" because well, there isn't exactly a set here. So anyway, um, so that's what I'm considering doing. I think for the podcast, I'll keep you guys informed on that. Definitely follow me on Twitter because that's where I'll be making any announcements. The real Geno, just like this channel. Um, let's see. How about a Ronin movie? I don't know if they'll do a Ronin movie. They got to make all the other big heroes first. Um, do it and you'll be here. I appreciate that. Hi, Daniel. Let's see. Whatever's easiest. Thank you, Desiree. You know, if most of you can tell when you see me on video finally, because I know I don't do a lot of stuff on camera. You can see the bags under my eyes. You can see that I haven't shaved in a week. You know? It's I put a lot of work into this, and I love every second of it. Don't get me wrong, but it wears me out a little bit. Let's see. Um, you'd love it to make it live. Yeah, it'd be better. Just every 2 weeks. I think would be plausible for me. That way, I'd have more stories to talk about, more or at least more to pick from. Uh, and I wouldn't have to, like I said, I wouldn't have to prepare too much. I'd still want to have quotes and stuff because I love having quotes and research because it makes the stories true if you're listening to the people talk about it. But Daniel, you've been a fan 2 years. Thank you very much since seeing me on midnight screenings. Yeah, I love doing midnight screens with Brad. I like to consider myself the pinch hitter for Team Snob. Anytime, you need, I don't know if they're home runs every time, but I like to at least think I get a base hit or a walk. But yeah, I appreciate that. I love Brad's a good friend. After I interviewed him at Comic Con years ago, we did one review together and didn't see each other for like a year or something like that, or maybe even longer. And we and he saw me at that Kevin Smith movie, the Yoga Hosers, and he asked me if I wanted to do a review with him. And I've been kind of doing reviews with him off and on ever since. So yeah, he anytime he needs someone, he gives me a call, and I appreciate that. And he's been a good friend, and I enjoy being able to help him, and he's been a big help to me, helping grow my channel what little it's grown. Let's see. Do I watch the Venture Bros? No, I've never really seen it. The first 3 episodes of Resistance Round. Gee, I guess I'm definitely not going to sleep tonight. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, I've heard Venture Bros is good. Problem with me and TV shows is I have to be really choosy because time. Um, I got to finish. I know I don't do reviews on it. I got to finish the season finale, Better Call Saul. I know is on last night. I'm kind of happy it's done. I'm happy it's a shorter show. I can't watch longer shows. What people wonder why I don't watch things like the Arrowverse. It's because I don't have time to sit through 25 shows or however many there is a season. So I like to pick shorter shows. I'm excited for Game of Thrones coming back. I want to do something on the channel for Game of Thrones where I go through all the episodes before the final season and then do the final season. I'm trying to figure out how I can do more for the channel. And I as much as I love doing the fully prepared podcast, it's gonna have to change. Oh yeah, I prefer this set too. I like sitting in front of the microphone. I still don't really enjoy being on camera, but I figured if I'm gonna just be chatting with people asking me questions, I better they better be able to see me. I'll probably put some posters or something back here, maybe something to block those stairs up to the to the first floor of the house. Maybe a Thanos standee looking like it's gonna snap its fingers and kill me or something. Um, do I have a Patreon? No, I do not. The reason I don't have a Patreon is, and I'm not opposed to it. I'm not opposed to people using it. I think some people abuse it. But guys, like I'll use Brad for example. He gives you your money's worth on Patreon. Because he's always sending out DVDs and Patreon exclusives and exclusive movies and reviews, and he gives you your money's worth. I know there's some that abuse it. I can't say I've done the research to be able to throw out names, and I'm not gonna be that kind of guy that's saying so and so sucks. But I think people abuse it. I don't do it because I don't want to make promises I can't keep. If I ever get to a point where I can do that, I might consider doing it. But and it would be nice. The extra money would be nice, but uh, I don't want to promise you guys things and then not be able to fulfill them promises. And I'm a man of my word, and I can't say I've fulfilled every promise I've ever made on this channel. There's segments I've wanted to do that I couldn't get to. I've started segments and said I was going to be able to do them, then I changed the format. People were wondering about my Punisher retrospective. It may come back someday, but right now I'm at a point where this is how I want to do movie reviews, things like that, and do my reviews. Um, so yeah, I can't um I can't make promises that I can't keep. I don't want to make promises that I can't keep. So um or I mean, I have a PayPal. I don't like asking people for anything money wise. I mean, if people super chat me, fine, I'm not going to complain. I would rather people for me, here's a little bit of a YouTube rant, excuse me, while I drink some more of my overpriced okay Irish whiskey from Conor McGregor. Um my belief in YouTube is that people shouldn't have to pay for it. And if people get super chats and people have Patreon, I don't have an issue with this, you know. And if people get paid for making videos on it, I don't have an issue with it. But I don't like the idea of YouTube Red. I don't like and I don't like for people to have to pay for my content. I'm gonna do it because I love it. And again, if people want to super chat and if people want to watch it. See, if you guys watch it and it gets to a point where I finally hit that threshold and see a check from this, I'll be grateful. But the only thing that you gave me was your time, which is all I like. That's all I need is your time. Um, I don't, I don't, it, I don't want people to have to pay for something twice. Time for me, if you couldn't tell, time for me is precious sometimes. Um, And me, I just want to give you the content that you can enjoy. If you enjoy it, great, but you shouldn't have to pay for it. And that's just it. I mean, if I end up doing something like that, I'm gonna make it worth your while, like Patreon. But I just want people to, um, I just want people to enjoy my stuff. I want to do it, and if people like it, I've always wanted to have just a cool channel where people can talk about stuff. I do a video and we all talk about it. I've had a few instances where I've dealt with trolls and things like that, and I give them a chance. I'll say, "Look, guys, let's just be cool. If you're here to be cool and talk, great. If not, I'm just gonna ignore you." Um, I just want this to be a cool channel that people can go to have fun discussions about movies, TVs, or whatever the heck we feel like talking about. So yeah, eventually, maybe someday Patreon, but right now, I'm just trying to have a good time. Um, love the dynamic between you and Brad. Thank you very much. I know Brad is a lot better at being off the cuff commenting than I am. I usually like to think about my movies before I talk about them. That's why I don't do like live stream reviews or anything like it, because I like to prepare. I like to think about, okay, this is what I like, this is what I didn't like. I think the ones that went best for me were the ones I didn't know I was going to be doing with him. Like the Yoga Hosers one. I wasn't expecting, I saw him at the theater. I said hi and I went back to my seat. And then we were done. He's like, "You want to do this with me?" I'm like, "Okay." And then we had a good time. When I know it's coming, I think about it too much. So I I think I overthink it, and that's on me. But either way, I'll go back and watch a little bit. I don't like watching me on things, uh, but I will go back and check out a little bit of it. And I think I do better than I think I do, but that's up to you guys, not me. I enjoy it though. Hey, Bullet Club guy. Let's see. Let's see. I'm surprised you joined him on those screenings more, or I'm surprised you joined him on the screens, Martin, even if it's last minute, since you live in another town, not Springfield. And Springfield's not that far away. And he's my friend, and I like helping my friend. If I can do it, I can't do it every other week again because when I got the boys, I'm not going to go to Springfield. I'll see my movies in town, so that way I can get home and be with them. But when I don't have the boys, what am I gonna do? Sleep? Uh, I Brad's my friend. I enjoy working with him. I love helping him when I can. I enjoyed helping him on those live streams he did, uh, trying to raise money for his movie. I'm really looking forward to when that starts. Um, but yeah, Springfield's not too far away. Now, if I lived in Champaign or something, that might just be a little too far. But since I only live like 45 minutes away, 50 minutes away from him, so it's not too bad to go help a friend out. Should check out Cloak and Dagger. Uh, I would, I might if I have time. I've never really been a big fan of those characters, but I don't know much about those characters. But I can't remember what station is that on. That's on Freeform, right, or whatever they're calling it now. Um, have I seen the new Mystery Science Theater on Netflix? I have not. I'm a fan of that show. I wouldn't say I'm a super fan of that show. Not that I don't enjoy it. I've just never went and watched all of them. My favorite's Mitchell, if you're wondering. The Mitchell episode. I love Joe Don Baker. So the Mitchell episode cracks me up a lot. Um, so super chat works. Yeah, I've never done super chat. I know I'm set up for it. I I know there's a little money button down there at the bottom. I think you hit it and say how much you want to give. I'm not asking people to give. That's on if you guys want to do that. I'm not going to ask for it. Let's see. Oh, you love the video review. Thank you, Tristan. I had a lot of good time with that one, especially the intro. Um, that was what I was thinking. I was thinking about that intro on my way home from seeing that movie. Uh, if you haven't seen the intro to my Venom review, I make a little fun of Sony. I had to poke a little fun at him. We could take your boys to join you and Brad in midnight screenings. Maybe Dave and Sarah let their daughter in on midnight screenings also. Hey, if they want to review some of the stuff I have to sit through, like Rock Dog, my kids can review that all day. Um, I did enjoy having my son help me review Ferdinand because he's a big John Cena fan. Um, so that was fun to do. Um, I'm not sure. It was fun having my other son do a Geno's Bad at Game segment with me. Had a little audio issues during that one, but and he was a little hyper at times, but it was still fun. It was funny because you say that about bringing my kids to do midnight screenings. When we were doing one of the live streams raising money for Brad's movie, I said, "I can come for a few hours. I got the boys. My mom can only watch it for so long." He goes, "Oh, just bring them." I'm like, "You do not want my kids running around this apartment. They'd be chasing Lloyd all around the apartment." But yeah, I enjoy having my kids on here every now and then, but part of me likes to keep it this separate um from because I'll tell you what, if there's I know a lot of people probably wouldn't like this, but see, when I started doing movie reviews, I started doing a blog at the TV station I work at, the TV station I still work at. Um, and then they had me do like some TV segments. If I would have done YouTube first, I probably wouldn't have used a camera. But then again, it was also the time of internet reviewers doing reviews from their houses whenever I was growing up with this stuff. So I probably still would have. I don't know. Part of me kind of would want to keep it a bit anonymous, but I don't mind that I'm not. Let's see. I know it sounds silly, but yeah, I think Nigeria reviews with Brad because you always have the opportunity and the luck of the draw when you do midnight screens. Yeah, Brad made a comment about about the movies I get to see. He goes, and I kind of I was being funny, but he said something along the lines of, "Yeah, no one's gonna watch a review for White Boy Rick," and I'm like, "Yeah, bring Geno in on the movies that nobody's gonna watch the reviews for." And I was being silly. He thought for a second I was being serious, but yeah, I do get a lot of the odds and ends. That weekend I did three with him though. We did what was it, Smallfoot and Night School, and then he was supposed to do Hellfest with Brian, I think, and then he ended up calling me about Hellfest. I had to go to Springfield to see it anyway because we didn't have it in Decatur. So I was just gonna see it earlier. Um, so yeah, I got to see a lot with him that weekend. Most of the times I'm seeing the ones that other people don't want to see, but you know what? I try to see as much as I can anyway, so I don't mind. Um, um, yeah, it seems super sketchy though. You talk, oh, the super chat. Yeah, I don't know how that works. I know it works. I think you have to have it hooked up to like a PayPal or something. I'm not exactly sure how all that works. Like I said, I'm not going to say, no, you can't watch. Um, let's see. Sony makes it so easy to mock them. Hell yes, they do. Amazing Spider Man 2 is definitely a punchline to that. As an El Pasoan, the Mystery Science Theater and Manos, the Hands of Fate is something some of us brag about. We are proud of that piece of junk. Hey, I'm proud of that piece of junk too. Um, not trying to be crass, but did you ever see the Watchmen and BVS review by this cat with the tag name? Come on, ass. Seriously, not trolling. No, I can't say I did. Um, if you want to send the link to that to me somehow, uh, I'll take a look. I mean, yeah, that's kind of a weird name. What is your anticipated film of 2019? I'm not even sure what all's coming out. The only animated movie I'm really looking forward to right now is the Spider-Man one. Um, the multiverse Spider-Man or Spider-Verse or whatever you can call it. Because boy, after that Venom movie, I'm curious because is Venom going to be a part of that? I asked so many questions in my review. I can't remember all of them. I'm not sure what all comes out in 2019. Uh, I mean, the one off the top of my head, I guess I can think of is Wreck It Ralph. Um, that would be the only one, but I'm scared of that one. Um, yeah, I'm scared of Wreck-It Ralph because I'm really afraid it's gonna be not the same as the Emoji Movie, but it looks like they're gonna rely too many on, "Hey, this is a brand," type of joke, and I don't wanna see that. I wanna see what they did in the first one where, yeah, they had characters like Pac-Man and things like that in it, but they created their own games, and I just have a feeling, though, it's gonna be one big Disney commercial. Because I mean, they go to that Disney World thing inside the internet and the Princess Room, and they have Star Wars ships flying around. I'm afraid of that movie. I really want to see it, but I'm afraid of it. But yeah, I'm not sure what else is coming out. Off the top of my head, you want to see Venom just to see Woody Harrelson. I want to see whatever the next Venom movie is to see Woody Harrelson. I thought what little bit they did with him was a little cheesy. That being said, the thought of him being Venom um, is cool. I like that idea of Woody Harrelson being Carnage is cool, but I don't know. I'm kind of afraid of it. Uh, let's see what else. Let's see on the channel. If you haven't got a chance, make sure to check out the segment Geno's Bad at Games. Um, I just played through a game, and I know Desiree can attest to this. The game will make you cry. Um, and it was a game called Valiant Hearts. The Great War is based on World War One. Um, and I played through. I think I had 10 videos on that. Definitely check that out. Um, it was one of the best games I've played in a long time. And yeah, the ending, I was sobbing. Uh, anyway, let's be honest. Everyone's waiting for the conclusion of Infinity Wars. Yes, I am. Um, what's one of my guilty pleasure movies? My biggest guilty pleasure movie, I always just say, is UHF. I love UHF. Um, Weird Al, and I love the movie, and I will never not love that movie. That's my biggest guilty pleasure movie. Is the Red Wig and Venom as bad as I've heard? Kinda. Um, and like I said, he's a little silly, the way he talks, and I mean, it's not the way he talks, it's what he says. Spider Verse movie reminds me of that game years ago, Shattered Dimensions. Yeah, had Spider-Man Noir in it. Yeah, and that's who Nick Cage is playing. Um, I'm really, yeah, I'm, of course, for the Spider Verse movie. I think I'm more excited for Spider Ham, because after seeing an episode of Ultimate Spider-Man, the cartoon, they had an episode, and I know this will never happen, but they had an episode of that show where you had Rocket Raccoon, uh, Spider Ham, uh, and Howard the Duck as like a trio. And I've always wanted that as a movie. I thought that'd be an amazing movie. But yeah, I'm really excited about that movie. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, Valiant Heart definitely gives you the feels. Yeah, I was sobbing, and I'm like, I was not joking. That last scene where they make you make that walk, that hurt. Yes, UHS is awesome, and no, you should not feel guilty about it. Um, I honestly feel, uh, Lunar, that Captain America and Tony Stark will sacrifice themselves. That being said, I believe Tony Stark will become AI Tony Stark like he is in the comics, or at least was in the comics. So that way they can keep Robert Downey Jr. and he would just have to do a little mocap for every movie. Um, let's see, Lego Movie 2, How to Train. I'm excited for How to Train Your Dragon 3. Um, let's see, Missing Link, Secret Life Pets 2, not really. Toy Story 4, kind of wish they just would stop to 3, but hey, why not? Angry Bird, I didn't know they were making an Angry Bird movies too. And Abominable DreamWorks version of Smallfoot, great. Yeah, out of those, I'd have to say it's How to Train Your Dragon 3. I'm not really excited for Lego Movie 2. I like Lego Movie, but I don't know. And it could be good. I like the fact that they're going back to everything as Legos versus the Ninjago movie, which it felt like one of those made for DVD ones where only the Legos were Legos, or whenever something mattered, it was Lego and everything else wasn't. In the Lego movie, everything was Legos, water, fire, everything, and I like that. Oh yeah, Frozen 2. Um, Ho Howard the Duck, favorite guilty ple I there's some scenes in that I like, and there were some scenes in that movie. There was a scene in that movie where I was just at the right age to really like that scene. You kinda and I'm not talking about the part first. I'm talking about the scene in the bedroom, where, I mean, yes, it was creepy, but Leah Thompson was pretty hot, and I was at the right age for that. Uh, you saw Howard the Duck on 70 millimeter. I bet that was awesome. Tony ain't leaving Peter alone. He's his new papa. Yeah. So that's why I think he's going to become the AI. He may become Peter Parker's AI. Or if they do a new Iron Man, or if they do Ironheart, which I don't know if they're going to do Ironheart in the movies or not. But I honestly feel he's going to become an AI for Peter Parker. Might be a little complicated contract wise, because that's the whole Sony thing. But top secret in UHF, and there's nothing wrong with that. No, there's not. Another Yeti movie. Smallfoot wasn't terrible. It was okay. Hey Geno, can you tell my oh hey, just keep that in mind. Dusty, that he's beauty. Haven't I done this before? You're a beautiful bird, Dusty. Haven't I done that before? Didn't I do that on a Q&A once? Um, have I been to all three Springfield theaters? Yes. The one that is right inside, or pretty much right inside of town, they revamped it. Have the cushy seats, so it's all right. I still prefer the Springfield 12, I think, over anything. It's just got the nicer screens. Um, let's see. Yes, you did, and it never gets old. Next time I'm gonna make you pay me for it. Are you looking forward to Wolfman, Got Nars, and Monster Squad? Yes, I am definitely I love any documentary about movies I love. One of my favorites, and it's not on Netflix anymore, but I think they've got it up on YouTube now. I believe it was called Never Sleep Again. It was like a really long documentary about the entire Nightmare on Elm Street series. That one's one of my favorites. I think that's about the making of a movie. Um, Hype for Spider-Man Far From Home. Yes, I am. I'm definitely hyped for that one. I'm curious. I'm afraid what I'm hearing, there might be too many villains, but I think if maybe some of them are just minor villains that you get to see Spider-Man beat the crap out of, that might be fine. Um, so what town do I live in? I live in Decatur, Illinois. Pretty much smack dab in the middle of Illinois. We're not as big as Springfield, but we're not as small as, well, it's probably not making sense to anybody else. Not as small as Illiopolis, which is my hometown. Um, let's see. Um, does this show have an email? Is that what you're asking, Tristan? Um, yeah, it's okay, yeah. It's my email address is the same as my channel, the real Geno at yahoo.com. You can send it to me there, that'd be fine. Um, did you see Dusty on Drunken Peasants last month? I told him he lived in Decatur, and he was all like, "Hey, my friend Geno lives there." I saw a. Did I see Dusty on Drunken Peasants last month? Told him we lived in Decatur, and he was like, "Hey, my friend." Yeah, what? Yeah, Brad was on that show a week or so ago, right? I watched a little bit of it. I haven't had a chance to watch all of it yet. Um, let's see. Daniel says most anticipated anime films: Train Your Dragon 3, Secret Life of Pets 2, and Frozen 2. I'm curious for Frozen 2. Um, I I don't know where they're going to go with it. A lot of people hated on that little short they did before whatever Pixar movie that was that they did. I liked it though. I love Olaf. So and then Secret Life of Pets 2. I wouldn't say I'm excited for it. I enjoyed the first one though. Yeah, Power Glove, I get compared to a lot of different people thinking I'm different people. I've been called Josh, I've been called Fat Jared was the one I got the most for the longest time. Um, if I can make a DC movie, which character or story would I choose? Hmm. Who would I choose out of DC? Um, I'm not sure who I would pick. I would love to see um if it were a character they haven't done a movie about, a real movie about, it'd probably be Dr. Fate. Um and I know that, but I know they've done Constantine. I would love to see a movie with both of those guys in it, especially if it were Matt Ryan, his Constantine. But if I could make any any DC movie, it would be an animated version of Hush. Hush is my favorite DC story. I love just the twists and turns and the fact that it's got all the different characters and they're all doing weird stuff uh they have the whole thing where Batman tells Catwoman who he is, and there's just so much to that. So yeah, if I could make any DC movie, it would be an animated R-rated Hush movie. That would be, and I would have somehow have Jim Lee animate it because it would have to look like Jim Lee's art for it to work. Um, Excited for Lego Movie 2. New director of that movie did Shrek 4 and Alvin and the Chipmunks 4. Uh, yeah, the Lego Movie 2 is going to be a crapshoot. Um, let's see. Yeah, definitely. The Hush story is definitely cool. It's one that I go back and read probably at least once a year. Um, oh, Alvin and Chipmunks. It doesn't matter if it's 3 or 4 when it comes to Chipmunks movie. Fate would be great. Yeah, see, I would love to see a Doctor Fate movie, but I would want to see a rated R Doctor Fate movie. Because I would love to see a movie do what Doctor Strange did, but be able to go further. I want to see it get creepy. Um, and from the way it sounds, DC may be making more R-rated movies, so uh, that's something I'd want to see. Well, guys, I think I'm gonna call it a day here. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Um, and I enjoy doing this. I'm a little beat, but it's time to wind down for the night. Uh, but anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Those of you that did, I had a great time doing this, and I think, like I said, follow me on Twitter because I'm gonna be announcing how I'm gonna be doing things. If I want to be able to change things up so I can do more stuff, as I mentioned earlier. So I just got to figure it out. Um, as much as I love doing the podcast, I think it's the big problem because I'm working on it every day of my life. As it seems, if I'm not writing or making notes, I'm looking for stories and things like that. And I'd rather do something like this where I can do a story and people can comment on it and then we can chat about it and then go from there. I'm definitely keeping things like quick hits though. I love doing quick hits. But anyway, let's see. Do the last few comments here. Um, let's see. Excited for Toy Story 4, but who asked for that? And there was a lot. Yeah, Toy Story 4. I hope it's not a cash grab. 2 is still my favorite. Though I don't get me wrong. I like 1 and I like 3, but 2 is my favorite. But yeah, guys, it was fun. Thank you very much. Lunar, good luck on the midterms. And yeah, Zanzeltan, I'm considering doing another one of these. Like I said, I'll probably still call it the low budget live stream. I'm thinking it might be a bi-weekly thing. I'm still trying to figure things out. Um, let's see. Uh, back to WoW for me. Have fun on WoW. Kill some orcs for me, Zanzatan, or whatever bad guys they got on there now. Uh, damn it, now you got to get a Twitter, Tristan. Sorry. I do have a Facebook too. It's at the real Geno, REELGENO. Lunar, thank you for everyone. Thank you for joining me. Desiree, thank you. Uh, and again, everyone, thank you so much for watching. That's going to be all for, I guess, the test run of the low budget live stream. See you later.